Morning. So it's 7 a.m. here and the sun's not up. Winter's approaching. Anyway, got bored and decided to make a video, and here we are. All right, so this video, I asked Christ one day, it was years ago, I asked him, how do you see us when you look down on us? When you're up here in the astral plane, the illusion, we're in the illusion. They're in the illusion. Everything's an illusion. All right. It's hard to get your head wrapped around, but it is. They say it. Well, Christ says it isn't. And I asked him, when you're looking down on us, and he goes, yeah. What do you see? And he goes, well, your head, your body, your head, your streets, your everything. And I go, okay. Well, what do you see when you look at us in a flat plane, like a dimensional flat plane, like a piece of paper that goes on forever? You go, what do you see? And he goes, oh, I understand. He goes, a bowl. You're a bowl. And he goes, you're born into that bowl. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, the fabric, you're born, your body, when you're born into it, the fabric wraps around you of that dimension, the fabric. And so I didn't really understand fabric, and I don't understand the veils and all this stuff. So I don't know if it was during. Well, he told me that, and he said he looks down and he sees a bowl. All the people are bowls, and they're moving around, but all you see is bowls, like a cereal bowl moving around. So I'm like, wow, that's cool. That's really cool. On a flat plane. And I go, what do you mean flat plane? He goes, well, you're born on the earth, right? You're wrapped into the fabric of that. And he goes, I don't got all the fucking words for it, but this is what it is. You're wrapped in to the fabric of the earth. You're born into it, it forms around you, and then you look like a bowl. I'm like, okay, cool. And I go, is that a dimension? He goes, part of it. He goes, it's the fabric of that dimension. You're born into the fabric of the dimension. And I go, is that the third or fourth dimension? And I forgot which. I can never remember. Numbers and me are insane. I can never fucking fail math. But the fourth dimension, the third dimension, fourth dimension, whatever it may be, where we are in this dimension. And he goes, it's dimension and perception. The two often get confused. Okay? And I go, okay. And I go, I know that. I knew that. But anyway, after our conversation was over, later that day or a couple days later, I was thinking about that again, and I fell asleep and I was like meditating, whatever. And all of a sudden, I'm looking down at a bowl, but the bowl had a rise in it, like this, and it was a bowl, a piece of paper with a bowl, but it had a rise. And then I went down real close, and I was me. I became myself in the bowl. That's what I learned in meditation of what Christ was trying to explain to me. You're wrapped in the fabric. In my head, I get it. But I have a goddamn hard time explaining what I learned from Christ. Now, Christ also said, he goes, we don't look at you like that. We look at your heart. We look at you. We're part of you in your, not in your fabric, your soul. We're in your soul. We can see your body if we want to, but where we want to perceive is what we see. It's all about perception. You guys down there got to change your brains, because you only see out your two eyeballs, and that's everything that exists to you. When you start changing your perception, then you start getting the answers to the universe and the creator and everything like that. So I'm like, fucking bring it on, dude. I want to learn all this shit. Anyway, I got beat up or something, and it ended. And the dream ended. But I got a perception of what he was talking about. So I drew a little picture here, and I want to show you the bowl that I drew. Just because it helps me explaining it to you. All right. Where are we here? All right. Let me get this out a bit. So this is your paper. A flat plane. This is the bowl. It's got a little rise coming up. Looks like an impact crater on the earth. Okay. So that's what he says this is what I saw when I was doing my meditation. Christ was explaining it to me. You look like a bowl. But when he said bowl, he didn't say there was a little rise in the middle of it like this. But that's what you look like on a flat plane. And this bowl moves around, and that's you doing your daily life, walking around, driving down the car, doing fucking 200 miles an hour down the highway. This is a bowl moving around on a flat plane. He goes, but if you change your perception, and this is what I seen, he sees your soul in the illusion, the spirit world. He sees you wrapped up in this piece of paper. And I'm like, what do you mean wrapped up in the piece? You're born on the earth. You're born on the fabric. He goes, so I'm assuming that this paper is the fabric or a part of it. Okay. So I want to draw something here for you guys. Let's go with that one. See this here? This is like this little rise right here is, I don't know what color to use. Yeah, try that. No. Oh, that's a shit color. Something nice. This is you, he says. Okay, just watch. So it goes like this, comes up and over and out, all the way around. Okay, like that. You understand where I'm going? He goes, when you're a soul floating around the illusion, and you're born into the earth, onto the in a physical body, in a meat body, you are born, and this fabric wraps around you. So it goes like this. And you're born, and this here wraps around, and you're part of the fabric, or whatever that is, of that dimension. So these are supposed to be arms. I know, man. I can't draw on a computer. I'm a pretty good drawer. It's one thing I actually passed in school. But anyway, okay. So this is you, me, all life. You're born into this body, right? But this wrapped around you. So I asked, is that your skins? Is that your skins, your ethereal soul skins? He goes, no. He goes, yes and no. He goes, this is you in the material world. You're wrapped up in it and birthed within it. But your soul, let's make that yellow, just for the sake of argument. I'll show you. He goes, your soul that I'm talking to right now is right, more or less, in your heart. Fucking colors, come on, man. I keep forgetting to switch that damn color. This is your soul. You don't see your soul because you're wrapped into the elements. You're wrapped in the fabric. Fabric equals elements. DNA, cells, dirt, clay. Well, you know, when they say you're born in the clay and you're from the clay of the earth. Well, that's what they're saying, the fabric, I think. He goes, that's your soul. But he goes, you, and that's what people, their soul is in their heart. As a standard, you're wrapped up so tight, your soul is here with us. Your soul is here with Christ in St. Lucian in the spirit world. But you only live in your world. You only perceive your world. You got to trust in God and Christ in your heart to get the fucking information to your head. So when they say meditate, when you go to sleep at night, your soul, boop, pops out and flies around with your friends in St. Lucian. Just for an example, it can go anywhere it wants, does whatever it's going to do. You have no notice. You have fucking dreams because you have dreams about it, depending on your level of awareness and what's going on. And I go, okay, I'm getting it. And I go, well, and he goes, that's between your soul body in here. Some people don't have, like, you lost your skins, so you're just a big bubble until you heal your skins back, your soul body. And the skins come from the soul body, the fabric, your bones, your meat, your flesh, to us. So it goes from inside out. You guys, he goes, you guys look at the world and that's all you see. But if you looked, you accepted your heart and your soul and God, you would see what we see. And that's why you are the way you are. Because you see through your heart, you see through your soul. I go, well, I'm not perfect at it. And he goes, no, because you still got to deal with the world you're living in, the 3-dimensional plane or the 4th dimension. Whatever that may be. I don't know. I can't remember if it's the 3rd, 4th, or 5th. Sorry. Anyway, well, I'm not sorry. It's just the way it is. But I could look it up. I could ask Grace again, but I got things I got to do. And he goes, but you want to know what's will really screw you up? I go, what? And he goes, the earth is a bowl. I'm going, the earth? And he goes, the earth you're standing on is a bowl. That dimension. So you're in a dimension wrapped in the fabric of time and space or something like that, and you're on the earth, which is in a bowl too. He goes, I can go from your little tiny bowl that I'm seeing, I can go backwards with my perception. It may take an hour, but eventually your bowl disappears and a great big bowl appears. And that's you on the earth. And he goes, that's you on the earth, and the earth is a bowl wrapped in that space-time fabric. But it's part of the space-time fabric. That goes, the soul got earth. He goes, it's got its own consciousness, quasi-consciousness, which is part of the creator. It's a whole different way of being, thinking. And he goes, now, once you learn all these different perceptions, you can travel around and do it. You can go there. And he goes, you know what the worst part is? It's going to really blow your mind. And I go, what's that? He goes, it's not a flat plane. He goes, you're perceiving it as a flat plane. But when you come down into it, and we as souls change our perception and go on the earth, well, the flat plane becomes, you're in the plane. So you get the stars and the galaxies and you get everything, and you're living within that plane. But you can step out of it and see it as a flat plane. So I'm drawing a piece of paper to represent the impact crater, or the bowl that represents us that we're wrapped in. So you got to understand this impact crater here, it really comes around down like this and wraps our souls in it, in a physical body that from birth. Okay. He goes, you're wrapped in that, and the earth is wrapped. It's a bowl on a flat plane. But you gotta, and he goes, if you look at the earth and you look at the moon, well, the moon's up there. It's at a different position on the flat plane. He goes, but for me, it's supposed to be a flat plane that I'm looking at, but it's not flat. He goes, I can look down and I can see the earth as a bowl. When I look at the moon is a bowl, but it's in a different position. And he goes, all the stars and all the planets are all in a different position. And that's about where he got, I'm telling you. And he goes, you can go into, when you meditate and you go to, and you come see me, I'm in you and you're in me. I can see through your physical eyes and bring myself into your dimension, into that plane of existence. And he goes, but I step out and I see this flat piece of paper, or this flat plane with all these bowls moving around. I got to change my perception, and there'll be another plane with other bowls. And that's another dimension. And you go to it. And you can go to it. So I'm saying, okay, this flat plane, you see it as a flat dimension, flat. Look at it as a piece of paper. He goes, okay, well, this is, well, anyway, I go, there's layers of papers on top of each other. And he goes, bingo. But you got to step out of the first one. You don't even know you're in one. And it even gets so deeper in that when you get into the different life forces and the subatomics and everything. So you got, and he goes, fuck, it's hard to explain even with a drawing. He says it's all about perception, where you want to perceive, but you don't even know. He goes, Rich, it's endless. It's endless. He goes, and every one of these planes full of life forms, species of humanoids, aliens, whatever you want to call them, full forever on each plane. I can travel forever following this plane, and I'll never see the end of it. And there's people all the way through it, life forms, All you see is your day-to-day life from two eyeballs, and you get wrapped up in politics, and you worship your politicians, and you worship this, and your vices. You're connected to all this. You, even when you leave your body, you still don't know where to go. He goes, when I was ignorant and stupid of all this, before I became Christ and learned it all over the past thousands of years, he goes, I used to be the exact same way you were, dude. Two eyes and a head, wrapped up in this fabric of space and time of the earth. But he goes, well, I learned, and they showed me, and my perception changed. I go, yeah, I know. He goes, the species, they call it the species. They don't use the word extraterrestrials. He goes, the species that showed you, but it was so much for you, you couldn't explain it. So that's why you're asking me to show you. More or less, that's what he said. And I was like, yeah. And he goes, well, the spaceships that are traveling, they're in between the pieces of paper. They come into the paper, or the ones you film that are all fuzzy, they're there, and they're in your world, but they're only half there. They partially manifest in your world. So there you go, guys. And he goes, that is from one. He goes, they can travel from one piece of paper to the next piece of paper. Total, from dimension to another dimension, and just jump through hyperspace of all these papers. But that's still wrapped up in the fabric from where they originated. He goes, you got to learn how to bypass that. You got to manipulate the craft that you made to bypass that physical world. And he goes, you guys, you don't even know nothing. You don't even know how to fucking make cheese. He didn't say that, I said that. But he goes, you don't even know how to make cheese anymore, or milk a cow. How the fuck are you supposed to travel from this dimension to that dimension? And you guys want it now. All right? He goes, come on, man. And he goes, and he's like, yeah, it can be done. They're doing it. But they're more advanced. They're like, what you say? He goes, what you say? You're class 0 civilization? Well, they're class 3. They learned all this. So they can travel from this world, jump out of that world, and jump to another dimension in a split second, or travel really fast to another galaxy in your fabric of space-time in minutes. Say their destination is 500,000 light years in this piece of paper. They just jump time and space within that fabric, and time and space only exists in this piece of paper, the one you're wrapped in right now. And he goes, you can explore that piece of paper for 100 million years, and you'll never see it all. But it usually don't last that long, because people are too smart to fucking even bother going there, because it's all world 3 and 4. And he goes, wait till you get up into the light and you start traversing that. It really changes, and it really screws you up. And you have to go inside yourself, in your inner light, in yourself, to go to the inner light. He goes, nobody knows that. He goes, they tried to explain it all in religions and Bibles and the way of things, but their interpretation, all that long time ago, got lost in the translation, and you guys don't understand it. And everybody's making theologians and everything to figure it out. And I'm like, God damn. So, more or less, here's a little thing for you. This is our dimension. There's another dimension, and there's another dimension, and another dimension, and another dimension, and another dimension. And I asked him once, another dimension. These are physical body dimensions you're born in, just like this one that you're in now. I just walked you through it. He goes, I don't know, I forgot what I was gonna say. Fucking so technical. So but he said you gotta step out and see through your heart and see through your soul. And what Christ can help you see all this. And I go, this is what I want to learn. I don't want to learn about racism and shit. He goes, well, Christ is here to get you through the pyramid of this fucking plane of existence. So when you at the base level and you climb the mountain, you step out of this third dimension, this fourth dimension, wherever you are. Then in the astral, because your soul lives in the astral, which transverses everything at each level. All these linear fabric of space and time planes that you are born into, and it's wrapped around you. You don't see until you look through your heart. Right there. When you bring your heart to your head, like that, you bring your heart to your head. Jesus Christ, I can't do this. And you see, your brain gets rewired. And you start to see over long periods of time, lifetimes, you start to see, and you can start doing things. Now, I'm just lying. I'm a fucking idiot. So go back to the mall and go do your thing. But hey, for the people that want to know, the people who actually know this, that they have a heart and a soul, well, goddamn, here's a little bit of something for you. Here's something to work towards. But don't get wrapped up. What you do, all you're fighting, you go to jail, you live, suffer, die, you get diseases and COVID, they manipulate you and everything, and it all happens right here. All happens right here in your little world. And then one day, somebody comes along in a spaceship and it disappears. Doop, bunk, just gone, just like this. And you're like, what the fuck? How does that work? There you go. Or God comes down, cures your fucking cancer, smartens you up for whatever reason, shows you a little bit of inner light, accept it and own it, that it happened. Your event. Accept it, man. You can move on to new things. And then, like, Christ is showing me this. Then when he told me this, he didn't show me. He told me it. Then the inner light showed me and brought me into my own body from outside. And what I perceived was exactly what the aliens were showing me. But it was not the aliens, it was my inner light. God that showed me where I am in time and space in the fabric of the earth and the fabric of this fucking dimension. So this is you, but also this is the earth. So I don't know, I'm just gonna throw this in there for the sake of argument. All these fucking flat earthers who are saying the earth is flat, are they talking about this? That doesn't really make any sense. So I don't think they are. Like they even have the ability to think and reasoning. It's all a psyop, the flat earth shit. But people own it, and people, I don't know, I met a fucking guy who was like 12 years old who still believed in Santa Claus. So there you go. But if this is the earth, like, and it's a bowl, and here's the moon, and it's actually a bowl, but the Earth is here, and the moon is here, and this is the Earth. So the fabric of space and time. So if you're looking at a flat plane, and this is the Earth bowl, and you're on the Earth here, on the Earth, and you're wrapped in it. So on the Earth, you're seeing hundreds of little balls. But Christ is saying, what really freaks you out is you think everything is linear, like on a flat piece of paper. It's not, because the moon is in a different position, which seems like it's outside that linear dimension, but it's still a dimension, but it's way the fuck up here. He goes, the sun, he goes, other planets, other galaxies, other fucking universes, or no, just galaxies and planets and stuff, are all in different positions. And you never know you're in this. I think that's what he's trying to say. You never know you're still in that fucking dimension. And then people think, well, because that planet is higher than this one, this is where they get it wrong. He goes, there's people that think because that planet is higher than this one, that you're at another dimension. But if you go to that planet, you're not. You're still in this same dimension. You got to step out of it. Your whole consciousness has to step out of this fucking dimension. And he says they have problems with it. And I go, well, isn't that, and I don't know if he was the guy who showed me this, the cosmic convergence. But that's another video. But all that relates to it too. Now, I only seen things, when I was in the cosmic convergence, I saw a bunch of different times. And it was all based in this dimension, this physical paper, fabric of space and time, and the meat world dimension. So you see, but also he said the moon would be here. Let's say the Earth is here in a linear flatness. You go, I can see it as a bowl. But why is the moon up here and I see another bowl? Because he goes, even then, I'm still in this. I have not totally stepped out of this dimension. Because I'm still seeing high and low, left, right, the thing, everything is still around me, but I'm still seeing it. I'm still stuck in this dimension. Even in the astral world, from where I'm viewing you as a bowl on a linear flat plane. So he goes, it's confusing. He goes, all of this is you can take class. You can take classes when you get up into the light above 13. You can take classes that teach you all this. And I go, I know, but I had to wait like years to get into the class. And he goes, yep. And I remember that from when I was dead. I went and saw the guy to learn this shit. And he said 6 months before you put your name in, but 6 months before our place opens up for you. And I said, oh, hell no, I ain't waiting no fucking 6 months. I just go talk to the aliens. But anyway, just want to make that little video. But it's all about change of perceptions. How you perceive from your eyeballs and your mental state or your heart. When you step out of it. And he goes, there's good and bad out there. Everything. But the higher up your pyramid you are, the more you see all the different dimensions, all the different illusions. He goes, there are illusions. You can go into each illusion. He goes, you can see not everything, because even the divine doesn't see everything. The angels and the divine people up there, They don't see everything. Even the fucking ETs don't see everything because it's endless, endless dimensions as far as we know, and it's endless, endless, endless. But this is a different perception. He goes, that's where you get it wrong. He goes, oh, jeez, where'd that come from? That was nice. They're all perceptions, man. Where you perceive. You're perceiving in your meat world. That's all you see. That's all you know. Because that's all you want to know. When you want to know more, goes meditate, go inside yourself to your inner light, into your soul, and meet me, and then or meet the aliens, or meet your own inner light. Go right to your divinity inside your inner light, and start learning. He goes, there's hundreds of ways of doing it. Well, I said, well, the ET showed me a good chunk of this, and my inner light showed me a good chunk of this. And he goes, yeah, I'll play with it. And he goes, I go, what are the portholes? He goes, what have you been to a place, wherever you've been, in the hundreds of thousands of years ago, you were at one place, in another dimension, in another, wherever, in the past, the future. And he goes, that is a whole nother ball game, past and future. And he goes, you can traverse it, but you got to know how, and you can't get lost in there. They'll never see you again. Or if that's what you want, you can do that. He goes, everybody's different. But he says, the cosmic convergence is a standing place, and it's more or less controlled for your orientation. He goes, God knows everything because he's created it, and he's exploring it through you to create more. I'm like, goddamn, dude. I'm like, all right, you get to the cosmic convergence, time and space, and traversing. He's not talking about clock time. Time and space is the past, the future. Don't really exist. It's where you want to go in your heart. I go, what about portholes? And he goes, you open it up. He goes, you did it. You open portholes. And I go, yeah, I know I did it, but I didn't do it in my head. And he goes, your fucking head can't even understand. Can your head build a car? I go, no. Then I go, well, it's the same thing. Once you know how to build a car, you can build a car. But he goes, and your brain knows how to do it. Your brain is just a fucking computer keeping you locked. It has rules to keep you alive in the fucking dimension. That's what it does. And it adds up. So when you bring your heart to your head, you're seeing me, and here you are talking. You're adding things up, and you're owning it. When you own it, you can traverse it. You can do what I'm doing. He goes, when you speak to the ETs, well, they're teaching your brain. You can now traverse and go see them, right? I go, yeah, more or less. And he goes, well, then. But I go from my heart to the ETs. And he goes, yeah, that's how you learned it. And he goes, keep doing it, learn. They'll show you. Every time you hook up to, he goes, every time you see them in your heart and you're watching in your fucking brain, you're learning new skills. And he goes, that's all it is. You're learning off me, I'm learning off you. You go see the ETs, you're learning off them. And it's all how much. They got secrets, everybody's got secrets. So there's a point that you can't get any more information because they got secrets or they don't know. If they don't know, they can't tell you. So he goes, it's endless, man. So don't get so wrapped up. He goes, don't get so fucking uptight about problems in your linear on the earth. He goes, don't worry about it. Assholes are assholes. Don't stress about it. Learn fucking God's plan. Learn natural law. Learn Christ consciousness. And Christ consciousness is here to help you get and climb the fucking mountain. and learn all this shit. And he goes, there's even problems within that. But that's where we are in 2020. So, if that don't blow your mind and you don't get it, well, then go to the mall and go shopping, get in your car and sit on the street and vroom, whatever the fuck you got to do. But I'm done with that. I am getting the hell out of here. All right, guys. So, stop share. That's a little bit about what I learned from Christ and the ETs. And they told me straight up, and in my own inner light shows you this. Or you can go on CNN and talk to the physicist, and he'll get you to where you need to be. Fuck! Could you imagine that? You're a string theory fucking quantum physics anomaly. The math says so. Like anybody can do that shit. All right. Me, traverse it in your heart. It's a lot better than a fucking math equation. Later, guys.